We all want to be happy, but is it wrong to seek our happiness in all that we do? Does God want to suppress this desire within us, or does He actually want to ignite it? Now, this past Sunday, the title of the message was Message of Eternal Pleasure, the Gospel. And the passage that we mainly looked at was Luke chapter 2, verse 10, which is about the birth of Jesus. And listen to what the angel announces at the birth of Jesus. He says, "Fear not, for behold, I bring you good news of great joy that will be for all the people." And this good news is about Jesus Christ coming. It's the gospel. And the angel tells us that the response to this good news, when somebody truly receives it, is going to be great joy. It's not bad news, it's good news, and it will bring great joy. Now, in the message on Sunday, we talked about everything that we do is driven by one main desire. It's the desire to be happy. And the illustration that we used is, God created our stomachs to hunger for food, and He created our souls to hunger for happiness. The stomach hungers for food, and the soul, by God's design, hungers for happiness. Now, you might say, well, do I really do everything I do to be happy? I mean, there's hard things that I do. There's things that I don't really want to do, but I still do them. So I'm not really trying to be happy by doing that because I don't really want to do it. No, that's not true, because the reason why you're doing that thing that you don't want to do is because you're avoiding some pain. You don't want to deal with some pain, so you do the hard thing. Why? Because avoiding the pain would make you happier. So you're always pursuing your happiness. And just understand this, pursuing your happiness, pursuing your pleasure is morally neutral. There's nothing sinful or inherently righteous about it. It's just the way we are. You can't avoid seeking to be happy. It's just how God wired us. Now, the problem with us, because of our sin, is not that we desire to be happy, it's that we desire happiness in the wrong things. That's what sin is. Sin is pursuing your pleasure, pursuing your happiness in what's wrong. Now, it's important to understand that you're always pursuing happiness in something. So this is where people get confused as well. You can't be happy in happiness, or you can't find pleasure in pleasure. Happiness is found in something. Pleasure is always found in something. And I want to go to a passage that we talked about as well in the Old Testament, which is Ecclesiastes chapter 6, verses 1 and 2. Listen here. It says, "There is an evil that I have seen under the sun, and it lies heavy on mankind. A man to whom God gives wealth and possessions and honor so that he lacks nothing of all that he desires." Listen, "Yet God does not give him power to enjoy them, but a stranger enjoys them." Now this verse is telling us that you can have all these things, we can have all these things, but we won't actually enjoy them apart from God giving us the power to enjoy these good gifts. And I want you to understand that the gospel is good news of great joy, because it's through the gospel that God gives us the power to enjoy the good gifts that He wants to give us. And why is this? Because the gospel directs our heart toward God, our Creator. And so that when we get these good gifts, the gospel teaches us, it trains us, it enables us to enjoy God through those things that are in creation, so that we don't worship the creation, and we certainly don't have to reject God's creation, but we worship God through the creation, which is really enjoying God through it. So remember, when we talk about the gospel, the good news of Jesus Christ, what we're talking about is it's good news because God uses it to intensify our pleasure by directing our desire for happiness toward Him. And because He is more valuable than anything else, the greatest pleasures, the greatest happiness, the greatest joy comes from being connected to God. So the gospel is good news because it intensifies our pleasure by directing our hearts to God and God alone in and through all things.